Assassin's Creed Shadows is arguably one of the most anticipated games of this year, but not for the reasons that you think it is. Whenever you hear the words most anticipated, a lot of the times it's because something is like really good. Like GTA 6, most anticipated game of the year, everyone's looking forward to it, everyone can't wait to get their hands on it. It's going to be such a great game, it's going to be a revolutionary game, it's going to be arguably game of the year. But when it comes to the reasons of why Assassin's Creed is one of the most anticipated games of the year, it's on the opposite spectrum, because this game is surrounded by so much controversy. That is the reason why it is anticipated, because people just really want to get their hands on this game just to witness the absolute failure that this game is leading up to be. And I'm going to give my reasons of why I think that this game is bound to fail. I think that this game has like almost 0% chance to succeed, and it just keeps coming out. It's almost like every single day that it just keeps getting worse and worse. And obviously from the outside perspective, first off, like one of the main reasons why it's set up to fail is the amount of controversy that surrounded it. When this game was even first announced, when the first trailers came out for this game and it showed Yasuke as one of the main characters of this game, it already started to kick off of how like controversial this game was going to be. But it's not even just that. There is so many other elements to this game, from the fact that they put in one of their collectibles to help promote this game, they put a half Torii Gate, which this half Torii Gate in Japan represents the bombing that the USA did on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during World War II, I can't remember exactly which city it was, but this Torii Gate was one of the only last standing things within that city after it was bombed, and they decided to use it in their collectibles, not knowing that that's exactly what it was. In recent times, we found out that on the Steam page, comparing it to English to Japanese, that in the English version, it considers Yasuke to be a legendary samurai, but the Japanese version, when converted to English, instead of saying a legendary samurai, it just says a legendary warrior instead, because there's been the whole entire controversy of whether Yasuke was actually a samurai or not during the time of feudal Japan. And then if we continue looking onto Yasuke as well, like there's been so many changes and so many questions about him in terms of his like input within the game. This right here from Games Radar says Assassin's Creed Shadows dev wants you to know that Yasuke isn't an assassin, and that means he's not getting any of the classic assassin abilities, which to me is kind of a bit stupid and doesn't really make sense to me whatsoever. And I've seen extensive gameplay that Assassin's Creed Shadows has released, as a lot of people have been able to get their early hands on the game and play a little bit of it. And it does question me, because if you look at every single other Assassin's Creed within the franchise, every single playable character does have these Assassin's Creed traits. And you might be saying, oh, Donnie, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Well, if you look right here, that is Connor from Assassin's Creed 3. That's right, I got the special edition of Assassin's Creed 3, and I also have as well an Assassin's Creed encyclopedia that came with Assassin's Creed Revelation. So when it comes to Assassin's Creed, I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. And also to continue on the Yasuke train as well, is that there was this exclusive article that came out just today, of the moment me recording this, where it says Assassin's Creed Shadows delay was to scale back Yasuke after historical backlash. So at first, Ubisoft and a development team for this game were trying to push Yasuke into the player's face. Now all of a sudden, one of the reasons for the delay of this game was because they want to scale him back because of the backlash. That just goes to show that they weren't doing this for any of the right reasons, because if you are doing something for the right reason, if you think what you're doing is right, no matter how much backlash you're going to get from it, you're going to keep on pushing that. But the fact that now that they apparently were scaling it back, that is one of the reasons for the delay, just goes to show that they actually just wanted to push Yasuke for some bullshit reason. There was also another controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows recently as well, where this YouTuber, he decided to put a video out. Now, he's a Japanese YouTuber. This man is Japanese himself, and he reacted to someone playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, where he critiqued the game extensively from the point of view of someone who's Japanese, and mentioned about how so many people within Japan don't like the way that Japan is being represented in this game, to which his video got taken down 8 times for hate speech. And I myself even watched this video as well because I saw Asmongold react to it. In no way was this hate speech. And it's kind of contradictory because he's critiquing a game about his own culture, and then all of a sudden he's the one who's getting called out for hate speech. And some of the comments on his video were hating towards him because of his criticism about the way that his culture was being represented in a game. And the gameplay itself, if you've seen any of it, I mean, this article says it itself, where it says Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay Twitch stream shows a buggy, bland game that puts no fears to rest. And it is so true. If you've watched the gameplay, like I said, I watched an extensive amount of it. And if you've seen some of it, oh my God, it is a buggy mess. And just put this into perspective as well, is that this game was already meant to come out. This game was first scheduled to release back in November last year, and then was pushed back to just 2 weeks from now, but has now been pushed back all the way to the late March. So it's just like, well, this game was meant to come out in November, and it's this much of a buggy mess? Like, you can't just say that this delay was only just because of the, like, scale back of Yasuke. Yes, that might have been a chance, but also, the game just is so bland and boring and buggy. And it's not even just the bugginess of the combat as well. It's just that it looks bland. It doesn't look great. It looks like this game and Assassin's Creed altogether is stuck back in 2015. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's evolved whatsoever from like Black Flag days. And of course, Ubisoft, even though that this game hasn't even come out yet, they're already trying to push expansions for this. That's right. They're already trying to push DLC for a game that hasn't even released yet. Typical, like, am I surprised by that? Of course not. Of course not. That's what these big companies do. Now, you might be saying like, oh, Donnie, you're just going on about all these controversies that are surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to fail. Like, who knows? Maybe these controversies could help push it. Well, my exact argument to that is Dragon Age the Valguard. I have talked about Dragon Age the Valguard so much on my channel, and I mention it so much because it is a great example of so much controversy surrounding a game that's not really made for the fans, a game that where they just try to push some bullshit within the game. They don't really focus too much on the actual things that matter within a game, like combat and gameplay, and try to evolve those elements where the gameplay and combat is very bland and then the writing within the game turns out to be extremely terrible. And that game flopped heavily. I mean, it only sold 1.5 million copies and was only 50% of what EA expected it to sell and really needed it to sell for at least them to break even. When it comes to like the amount of controversy that Dragon Age the Valguard surrounded, I feel like Assassin's Creed Shadows has twice amount of the controversy that surrounded Dragon Age before its release. Like, maybe after its release, you could say that Dragon Age's controversy went to like more than what Shadows is at the moment, but that's because people then witnessed how terrible the writing itself was, because when it came to the trailers of Dragon Age the Valguard, we really only saw a little bit of the writing, but mostly gameplay and combat, and that was the part that was like surrounding it because the game just looked very bland. Now with Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's so many other elements than just the gameplay and combat. It's also the environment surrounding the game and the historical backlash that they've gotten from putting Yasuke in the game, and also like putting him on a pedestal from what his initial historical writing said about him and lack thereof. And I feel like because of the amount of controversy that's surrounding this game, if you look at Dragon Age the Valguard, the amount of money that was put into that game, the amount that it sold, and also the amount of people that didn't like the game, there was also big reports that apparently a lot of people refunded the game as well. With Assassin's Creed Shadows, I see it going in the exact same direction as Dragon Age the Valguard, where it has so much controversy surrounding it. And like I said, I reckon it has double the amount of controversy that Dragon Age had before its release. I feel like it's just bound to fail. I really, really do. And for me, it sucks. Like, it does. Like I said, I just showed you. I have an Assassin's Creed 3 statue. I have an encyclopedia of Assassin's Creed. Now, I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Black Flag, and I refuse to because they're all shit. Ever since then, I've seen gameplay, I've watched gameplay, and I've made my decisions of when new Assassin's Creeds come out, and I'm just like, I'm not buying these because this is not any way evolving the games that I played from when I was younger. Like, if you go Assassin's Creed 2 to 3, you can see the way the game evolved. Assassin's Creed 3 to 4, you can see the way the game evolved. And then after that, it kind of just stayed the same, stayed bland. And now with the amount of controversy surrounding Shadows, it's just not good. And for Ubisoft, this is bad, because they've already shut down like multiple studios as well over the past few weeks, and their stock has dropped significantly. To me, when Assassin's Creed Shadows fails, and like I say when, not if, because I just feel like there's no chance that Assassin's Creed Shadows will succeed, I feel like that Ubisoft is going to go under and going to have to sell off the entire company. One big talks is Tencent buying out the company. They already hold a little bit of stocks in Ubisoft, and I could 100% see Tencent coming in, swooping in, and just fully buying out Ubisoft and taking all of their IPs and hopefully doing better than what Ubisoft is doing right now. But I would definitely like to hear what you guys have to think about all this down below. That's going to be it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.